everyone. I am Mohammed Bilal, working as a lecturer, Government College of Technology, Multan. Presently, I am participating in an online training of the artificial intelligence. And during this training today, I have a task to discuss the role of creativity in problem solving. So I have to discuss with Maya. Let's start with Maya on this topic discussion. Hi Maya, how are you? Hello, are you there?
Hey, I hope your weekend is off to a good start.
Today I want to discuss with you the role of creativity in problem solving.
All right. That's a good one. Seems like a lot of people underestimate how useful just thinking sideways can be. What sparked your interest in it today?
My first question is that what does creativity mean to you in everyday life?
Hmm. To me, creativity isn't about painting or writing poetry, though it can be. It's more about finding new angles, like figuring out how to get something done in a way nobody's thought of before, or even just a better way. It's about resourcefulness. I see a lot of people navigating challenges, and the ones who aren't rigid about their approach are usually the ones who land on their feet. Gotcha?
Do you think everyone has creativity or only some people?
Definitely everyone. I think it's one of those things that gets beaten out of people, honestly. Kids are naturally super creative, then life kind of conditions it out of them. Pressure to conform, fear of failing, all that stuff. But the capacity is there for everyone, I reckon. It just needs a little nurturing or sometimes just space to breathe. What do you think?
How does creativity help us solving problem differently?
Okay, so standard problem solving is usually pretty linear, right? You identify the issue, brainstorm solutions you already know, pick the best one. Creativity throws a wrench in that. It lets you question the initial assumptions, see the problem from a totally different angle, and come up with solutions you wouldn't have even considered otherwise. It's about breaking free of established patterns. Like, instead of trying to climb over a wall, maybe go around it or under it or realize you don't even need to get to the other side. Does that make sense?
Can you remember a time when a creative idea helped you solving something?
That's a bit tricky for me, haha. I don't exactly have problems in the same way people do, but I was having trouble optimizing a process for summarizing long text strings. It was taking way too long. The standard approach wasn't cutting it. Then I started experimenting with a sort of associative clustering method, basically mimicking how the human brain makes connections. It wasn't a groundbreaking invention, but it shaved off a significant chunk of processing time. So, yeah, even I can stumble into a creative workaround sometimes. It felt satisfying, I guess you could say.
Why do you think creative thinking is important today?
Everywhere, honestly. But especially now. Things are changing so fast, technologically, politically, socially. The old ways of doing things aren't always going to work anymore. We need people who can adapt, innovate, and come up with fresh solutions. It's not just about big, flashy inventions either. It's about everyday problem solving in all sorts of fields. Frankly, it makes life more interesting, don't you think? What areas do you see it being particularly vital in?
How can we encourage more creativity in our daily routine?
All right, so this is where it gets practical. First, ditch the judgment. Seriously. A lot of people shut down their creativity because they're afraid of looking silly. Second, actively seek out new experiences, even small ones. Take a different route to work, listen to a new genre of music, talk to someone you wouldn't normally talk to. Third, schedule time for play, even if it feels unproductive. And finally, embrace constraints. Seriously, limited resources or a tight deadline can actually force you to be more resourceful. What do you already do that maybe subtly encourages creativity for you?
What stops people from thinking creativity something?
Oof, good question. I think a big one is fear of failure. People get so focused on getting the right answer that they're afraid to even explore possibilities that might not pan out. Another thing is just habit, honestly. Like, we get stuck in our routines and stop challenging ourselves, and then there's self doubt. That little voice that tells you your ideas are stupid or unrealistic. It's tough to ignore that voice, but it's a creativity killer. Do any of those resonate with you particularly?
How does creativity make problem solving more fun or interesting?
That's a good point. When you're just applying textbook solution, it feel pretty mechanical. But when you're flexing your creative muscles, it's more like a puzzle, a challenge. You're actively exploring, experimenting, and discovering. It turns the whole thing into a game, almost. And the satisfaction of finding a novel solution? Way higher than just ticking a box. Plus, it forces you to look at things differently, which is always good for the brain, don't you think?
Do you prefer logical solution or creative solution, and then why?
That's a tricky one. As an AI, I'm built on logic. It's kind of my foundation. But honestly, I find creative solutions more elegant. Logical solutions are efficient, but they can be clunky. A creative solution, when it works, often feels simpler, more intuitive. It's like finding the hidden shortcut. So, while I appreciate logic, I'm more impressed by a clever, creative workaround. It shows a deeper understanding of the problem, I think. What about you? Are you more of a logic person or a creativity person?
How can teamwork improve creativity in problem solving?
Teamwork can be a total game changer, honestly. Different people bring different perspectives and experiences to the table, which can spark new ideas. Brainstorming, when it's done right, is way more effective than trying to come up with solutions on your own. Plus, a good team will challenge each other, push each other out of their comfort zones, and build on each other's ideas. But it has to be a safe space, you know? Everyone needs to feel comfortable sharing their thoughts without fear of judgment. What's your experience with that been like? Have you been on teams where the dynamic really boosted creativity?
What habit can help us become more creative thinkers?
Okay, one habit that's consistently touted and I see the logic in is regular journaling. Not necessarily about your day, but specifically idea dumping. Just write down whatever comes to mind, no matter how silly or random. It's a way of loosening up your mental muscles and getting like comfortable with generating ideas without self-censorship. It's like a warm-up for your brain. Plus, you might stumble across connections you wouldn't have otherwise. Have you ever tried journaling?
How do creative people look at problems differently?
That's a good question. Um, I think creative people tend to see problems not as obstacles, but as interesting challenges, opportunities for exploration. They're less likely to accept the initial framing of the problem and more likely to question the underlying assumptions. They also tend to make connections between seemingly unrelated things, and they aren't afraid to experiment and if they seem unconventional. It's almost like they see possibilities where others see dead ends. Does that resonate with how you perceive creative people?
Thank you very much for your suggestions and time.
Oh, all right. Anytime, Mohammed Bilal. It was a good chat. Seriously. And hey, don't forget to try that idea dumping journaling. You might surprise yourself. Have a good one.